Hello, you're kicking off the Saturday's edition of QPVN English News Bulletin. You're with Milinji and income headlines. Thai Defense Forces Chief pays official visit to Vietnam. Vietnam highlights commitment to gender equality at Global Women's Summit. Vietnamese culture and handicrafts touted at BRUNEI. On July the 4th, General Phan Văn, Minister of National Defense, chaired a conference to assign a new commander of the Air Defense Air Force Service. Congratulating Major General Vũ Hồng Sơn on his new position as Commander of the Air Defense Air Force Service, General Phan Văn asked him to inherit and promote the achievements of the service, continue to implement the plan adjusting the unit's human resources organization for the new context, while focusing on the parades to celebrate the 80th anniversary of National Day on September 2nd, ensuring absolute safety. Mr. Phan Văn emphasized that the Air Defense Air Force Service needs to successfully hold the Party Congress of the service for the 2025-2030 term, build a clean and strong party organization, and really implement the party principle of democratic centralism. On July the 4th, the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army held a mid-year conference to review party political work in the first half of 2025. Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết, chairman of the department, presided over the meeting. Throughout the first 6 months of the year, party political work in the military were implemented comprehensively and flexibly, fulfilling all set tasks. Efforts focused on strengthening political foundations, proposing key policies, and ensuring smooth force restructuring in line with new organizational models. The military successfully organized party congresses or levels and supported commemorations of the 50th anniversary of the liberation of the South and national reunification. Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết emphasized the need to enhance ideological education and promote meaningful celebrations of the 80th anniversary of the August Revolution and National Day, particularly through high-impact emulation campaigns. He stressed reinforcing political work in training and readiness, updating regulations to match the ongoing structuring for a leaner and stronger local military force. He also called for greater application of technology, AI, and digital tools in party and political work, improving cultural and artistic activities, and modernizing military media to boost communication effectiveness in the digital era. In the coming term, the whole military is urged to thoroughly prepare for the 12th Military Party Congress and the 14th National Party Congress, while fostering strong bonds with the people through grassroots engagement and mass mobilization initiatives. Also on July 4th in Hanoi, General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff and Deputy Defense Minister, chaired a conference to review staff work in the whole military in the first 6 months of 2025. In the first 6 months of 2025, the General Staff directed the whole military to successfully complete military and defense tasks, proactively research and advise on many major military and defense policies. The training, education, exercises, competitions, sports, and building a strong unit achieved good results. General Nguyễn Tân Cương asked the whole military to strictly grasp and effectively implement the commands of Party General Secretary Tô Lâm and Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, carry out 16 key tasks for the 2021-2026 period of the Central Military Commission. Conclusion of the Minister of National Defense at the Political Military Conference in the first 6 months of 2025 and the Military and Defense Work Order in 2025. Also on the same day, following a welcome ceremony at the Ministry of National Defense, General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff and Deputy Minister of National Defense, held talks with General Songwit Neonpaki, Chief of Defense Forces of Thailand, during his official visit to Vietnam. At the ceremony, General Nguyễn Tân Cương reaffirmed Vietnam's commitment to strengthening defense cooperation with ASEAN partners, especially Thailand, for regional and global peace and stability. He highlighted the growing substance and effectiveness of Vietnam-Thailand defense ties, particularly in various fields of mutual interest. During their talks, both sides agreed to deepen cooperation through increased delegation exchanges, optimize existing cooperation mechanisms, and expanded collaboration between military services, especially maritime law enforcement forces, as well as in training and other potential areas. They also emphasized the importance of close consultation and mutual support at multilateral forums and events hosted by both countries. General Songwit Noon Pakidi underlined that defense cooperation remains the key pillar of the Thailand-Vietnam Comprehensive Strategic Partnership and expressed hope for continued progress in depth and effectiveness. The two sides exchanged views on regional and global security issues. General Nguyễn Tân Cương underscored ASEAN's central role in shaping a regional security architecture and reaffirmed Vietnam's consistent foreign policy of independence, peace, friendship, and multilateralism, particularly its four-nose defense policy. On the South China Sea or its the issue, General Nguyễn Tân Cương reiterated Vietnam's position of resolving disputes through peaceful means based on international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and called for early and effective conclusion of a code of conduct in the South China Sea. Earlier, the Thai delegation led wreaths and paid tribute at the Mausoleum President Ho Chi Minh at the Monument to the Revolutionary Martyrs in Hanoi. On July the 4th, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Defense Minister of Vietnam, hosted a meeting with both the outgoing and incoming defense attaché of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to Vietnam. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến congratulated Colonel Kim Yong-chol on successfully completing his second term as DPRK Defense Attaché to Vietnam and highly praised his 11 years of service in the country. He acknowledged Colonel Kim's significant contributions to fostering bilateral defense cooperation and strengthening the traditional friendship between the two nations. Welcoming Lieutenant General Chiu Quang-il as the newly appointed DPRK Defense Attaché to Vietnam, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến affirmed that the Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense will provide full support to help him fulfill his duties and further advance defense cooperation between the two countries. For his part, Lieutenant Colonel Chiu Quang-il expressed hope that the bilateral ties could continue to grow stronger and pledged to effectively implement the areas of cooperation agreed on by the two defense militaries. Coming next, Vietnam highlights commitment to gender equality at Global Women's Summit. Vietnamese culture and handicrafts touted in Brunei. The Global Summit of Women 2025 under the theme Women Restoring Values in the D0 Age recently kicked off in Berlin, Germany. Vietnamese Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân delivered a speech at the opening ceremony. Addressing the event, Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân praised the summit for its contributions to promoting dialogue and international cooperation on gender equality over the past 35 years since its inception. Highlighting Vietnam's notable progress in promoting gender equality and women's empowerment in recent years, she affirmed the country's consistent commitment to these priorities. She spotlighted Vietnam's national D0 transformation strategy, emphasizing initiatives like the D0 mass education and AI for all movements. She commended the pioneering role of the Vietnam Women's Union in bringing these programs to women at the local level, helping to build an inclusive D0 society. To ensure the active and self-participation of women and children, Vietnam is striving to create a secure and friendly D0 space with several concrete actions already underway. Meeting with German Vice Chancellor on the sidelines of the summit, Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân suggested the two countries enhance high-level exchanges on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of the diplomatic ties, elaborating that it is an opportunity to review and advance bilateral cooperation across all fields and channels. On the same day, Vice President Võ Thị Ánh Xuân met with representatives of the Vietnamese community in Germany, where she briefed them on Vietnam's current socio-economic situation, acknowledged their meaningful contributions to both the homeland and host country. She also appreciated the role of the associations in preserving national cultural identity and fostering the Vietnam-Germany friendship. On this occasion, the Vice President also attended a ribbon-cutting ceremony to unveil the Vietnam-Germany bear statue at the Vietnamese Embassy in Berlin. Initiated by Ambassador Vũ Quang Minh, the statue features iconic landmarks of both countries. The bear, a symbol of Berlin, also represents hospitality, strength, unity, and friendship, embodying the enduring and vibrant relationship between Vietnam and Germany. On July 3rd, on the sidelines of the 95th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the permanent mission of Vietnam in Geneva, in collaboration with the delegations of Bangladesh, Mexico, and the Netherlands, co-organized a side event themed Transforming Food System to Adapt to Climate Change and Ensure the Right to Food Sharing Experiences and Practices. The event's theme bears a significant meaning in the context of the world facing such multi-layered crises as climate change, environmental degradation, conflicts, and increasing food insecurity. Food is not only an essential need for human survival, but also a basic human right recognized in many international documents. Ambassadors and heads of missions of the co-organizing countries also share many diverse practices, contributing to the success of the discussion. The event not only clearly demonstrated Vietnam's active and proactive role in promoting human rights in the context of climate change, but also contributed to expanding the network of partners and sharing practical lessons with the international community. As part of efforts to enhance cultural diplomacy and image of Vietnam abroad, the Vietnamese Embassy in Brunei recently partnered with the International School Brunei to organize a cultural exchange event highlighting Vietnamese literature and traditional hand embroidery art. During the event, the embassy presented a collection of Vietnamese literary and cultural research books to the ISB library, including well-known works translated into English. Ambassador Trần Anh Vũ expressed hope that ISB students and international friends could actively explore Vietnamese literature and cultural studies. As part of the program, ISB lecturers and 30 students from grades 7 to 12 who represent diverse nationalities had the opportunity to experience traditional Vietnamese hand embroidery and decorate their creations with distinctive hermon patterns. The session was guided by Ms. Lê Thị Hồng Ngoan, spouse of the ambassador, Ms. Masra Nguyễn, founder of the handicraft brand Rattan House, and Ms. Phạm Thu Phương, a representative from the Vietnamese community in Brunei. Ninh Bình Province is building a nomination dossier for the Han Nom inscriptions on Non Nước Mountain to be inscribed in the UNESCO Memory of the World Program for the Asia-Pacific region. At Non Nước Mountain, Hoa Lư Wat, there are 43 extant stone stelaes on the mountain and 12 other documents dating from the Trần Dynasty to the early 20th century. These inscriptions feature imperial poems and prose composed by kings, poetic verses by scholars and poets, along with distinctive calligraphic and scriptural features. Some inscriptions help us understand more about the life of the Trần Dynasty in the late 13th and 14th centuries. The Han Nom inscriptions of Non Nước Mountain can be compared to other outstanding stone-carved documentary heritages, such as ancient stone steles in Egypt and royal steles in Ethiopia. Therefore, Ninh Bình Province is promoting consultation with leading domestic and international experts to build a nomination dossier for the Han Nom inscriptions on Non Nước Mountain to be inscribed in the UNESCO Memory of the World Program for the Asia-Pacific region. Building a World Documentary Heritage dossier under the UNESCO Memory of the World Program is essential. We will closely follow the provisions of the heritage law and international treaties on cultural heritage that Vietnam has participated in to advise the Provincial People's Meeting on plans and projects to preserve Non Nước Mountain, a special natural relic. As of 2024, Vietnam had 10 documentary heritages recognized by UNESCO, including 3 World Heritage documents and 7 Asia-Pacific regional documentary heritages. The registration of the Hannom inscriptions of non-modern into the UNESCO Memory of the World program for the Asia-Pacific region is not only an honor for a unique heritage of Vietnam, but also an important contribution to the common memory of humanity. It is the end of the latest news bulletin today. You can watch our news again at QPVN.vn. Goodbye and see you next time.